Hello, Kindred Spirits, and welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin, and today we are looking into your next 2 weeks for the overarching energies coming forward, as well as a week-by-week energy forecast with the charms. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so welcome back, my beautiful kindred spirits, and anyone new who is joining us here on the channel today. Like I said, we're diving into your next 2 weeks to get into the nitty-gritty, the details, the overarching energies, and the charms, so definitely stay tuned for those. But if you've been here for a while or even are new and you're interested in the snail mail readings that I do, where I send a letter to you in the mail, typewritten on a vintage typewriter, wax sealed closed for your eyes only, diving deep into any question or query that you have, specifically at this time for relationships, any kind of relationship, queer, for a familial relationship, a relationship with yourself, a spirit, however you wish. Or if you want to dive into a year ahead reading, diving deep into the challenges, obstacles, compass, the ways in which you want to navigate the biggest themes and energies coming forward for you for 2026, then those are open for you right now as well. They're the ones I recommend if you've never had a reading from anyone before. I think they're the perfect way to start, and you get a lot for what you're getting. So lots of information over on my Instagram in the pinned posts, and if you can't find what you're looking for, just send me an email and I'm happy to send more information your way. But with that said, let's go ahead and look at these piles. So there are 3 different piles here today to look into your next 2 weeks. Here for pile number 1, if you are feeling called, I can pick it up. If you're feeling called to this little bird soaring through the sky, then that is pile number 1. Here for pile number 2, if you're feeling called to this particular sort of tree of life or tree in general, then that would be pile number 2. And last but not least, here for pile number 3, if you're feeling called to this little butterfly with these swirls, then that is pile number 3. But before you start heading off to the timestamps, I'd like to invite you to take a deep and cleansing breath here with me in just a moment to call in your guides, to connect with your own intuition, to take a moment and look at the piles a little longer, or just have a moment to yourself. So let's go ahead and take that deep breath together here now. And as always, there's no rules to this. You can choose all 3 of the piles. You can choose a pile, take little bits and pieces from it. You can take a pile and decide it's not for you. There really are no rules to this, so play around as you'd like. All of the timestamps are down below in the description, alongside the chapter marks of this video that you can check out as well. And if you're interested in those relationship readings, the year ahead readings, or the other offerings that I provide for spell and ritual papers, custom stamps that I hand carve myself for your particular art magic that you like, or anything else for creating your own handmade charm casting cloths or others, then definitely feel free to reach out and look down below. But let's go ahead and get started here with pile number 1. Hello group 1, if you've decided to choose this little bird charm, then this is the pile for you, as today we are going to be looking into your next 2 weeks to see what's going on with the charms, the letters and numbers, as well as the tarot tiles, and the tarot deck of choice today being the Everyday Tarot, which I'll have, as always, everything listed down below in the description alongside other useful links and helpful tips and tools and everything down there. Today, like I said, we're looking into your next 2 weeks. We're going to be doing a week-by-week energy forecast with the charms here, and we're also going to be going into the specifics as well as the overarching messages. So definitely feel free to get yourself cozy, settled, comfy for this. Put your own intuitional spin onto this reading as well if you'd like to, whether that's by calling in your guides or if you'd like to play around with your own intuition to see what comes forward, especially since this is such a unique kind of reading style with the charms and everything. I think this is a perfect opportunity to really strengthen your intuition and like kind of work that muscle. So feel free to play along with me here. We're going to start out first with your letter tiles, which I'm going to zoom you in here so you can see, but we're going to start with your letter tiles. These are going to go into the initials, the big initials coming forward, as well as looking into any oracle messages or other things we can spell out, but feel free to take these and run with them as you'd like. but we're going to go ahead and pull some for you. Definitely feel free, as always, with everything here today to send your energy in and really connect with the tools, and we will pull some for you. Okay, interesting set of them so far, seeing as you have toe here. You have T-O-E-E-I, as well as N, K, and O. Okay, you can spell toe like so many different ways. It's making me think of either like tic-tac-toe, like someone's playing games with you, small little games, playful games, less like big manipulative games and more just like more trivial, playful things. The other thing I saw too was like you can spell toe, but you can also spell ton, which makes me think like maybe you are also in a situation where you just feel like there's a lot of weight on you, and you can really feel it in the foundation of like your beliefs, or the foundation of, you know, things like everything falls to the toe. Like your feet are huge in how you balance and move through the world. And anyone who's had like a foot injury or has chronic pain with their feet or anything like that would know that it is your rock, it is your foundation, it is how you move about the world. And when there's a ton of weight on you, a ton of either physical, actual weight, in terms of like maybe physical labor that you're working on, or activities that you're doing or such, or if you find that over these next 2 weeks there's just a lot of emotional weight, even that can translate into physical symptoms, as well as translating into just in general the foundation of your beliefs, right? What are the toes? What are the things that are helping you to balance yourself as you move through the world? Right, because it's not just your feet. We're talking specifically the toe, which makes me think too, like your toes are what help you to balance and wiggle and hold yourself up and to readjust and to be more flexible to the amount of weight that you're feeling. So there also is maybe a push towards trying to adjust to things, not just find balance, but also to adjust, to be flexible, to try a different manner of going about something, a different action to be taken over these next 2 weeks that might help a ton to get this kind of weight off of you. So that's something to consider. You have like Tony, you've got like talk here, maybe like TikTok, or also could just be literally talking about like time. But I'm not really seeing a ton of other things. Got sort of coy, sort of I know showing up here as well. Like I know I'm running out of time. Maybe it's a time pressure that you're feeling. However you see these though, feel free to keep playing with these and seeing what shows up for you. But I'm going to go ahead and pull you some numbers as well to go along with this. And the numbers are very similar to the letters. These instead will be looking more into significant dates, looking into angel numbers, repeating numbers, that sort of thing. And we'll see with the numerology as well. So send your energy in. And we'll pull a few for you. All right, only 2 of them this time, though. You have the number 11 in red, as well as the number 3 in red, which is interesting. So we have the 13th, the 11th, the 14th being significant dates. And these don't have to necessarily be significant to what is coming in the future. They could also be past dates that are significant in the way that what happened on that day is now correlating to the things that are happening in the future, right? It's all connected. So yeah, the 31st, I don't know, there's definitely not 31 days in February, but you could even count to see where the 31st would be moving into March in that way and see what's up. But the number 3 represents collaboration, so maybe where you're feeling this weight on you is related to collaborating with others, some sort of group project or something that you really have to communicate, interlock with a lot of people, network with a lot of people to make something happen, whether it's on a very small scale, something like a family dynamic, or something much larger and global. And then you also have the number 11, showcasing in red as well here. Red usually representing some sort of conflict or a lot of passion as well. And the number 11 also represents a wish-making number, of wanting to wish or wanting to aspire towards something. So I also see the passion in this red energy too, of wanting, there's some sort of wish or aspiration that you're working toward this week too, making changes in your life. Maybe those are those actions and behaviors and beliefs that are changing on that foundational level, in which you are very passionate about. So those are things to consider as well. Let us pull you a card to look into the overarching energy of the next 2 weeks for you. So if you send your energy into any of these decks and supplies here, I would definitely say this is the one to do it in, because this is going to be the card that really dives into the overarching big energy coming forward most of these next 2 weeks. So definitely connect with them, and I'll pull one for you, group 1. The next 2 weeks, group 1. Okay, 7 of Swords. Interesting. Okay, the 7 of Swords is an interesting one because it is the one that I always think of. Like, a lot of people talk about this as lies and deception and sort of sneaky energy. And yes, it does sort of look like someone's sneaking out of this castle with a bunch of swords and they're off to go sell them, or they're doing some sort of nefarious act here of stealing. But what I also see with this one, and I, not specifically in this deck, but other decks kind of lean into this as well, is the idea that, like, maybe there was a miscommunication that happens within the 7 of Swords. The 7 of Swords can talk about miscommunication. So it's like sometimes we put labels on particular people in our lives, maybe the people you're collaborating with, or the people which you maybe aren't connecting well with right now. Maybe it's causing more of that pressure that you're feeling or may be feeling in these next 2 weeks because you've put a label on them. They're lazy, they're tired, they aren't doing enough, they go against my beliefs, they're a bad person, they're whatever it is that you have as an assumption. And maybe there's a lot of reasons why you feel this way. But sometimes it's important to swap that narrative and make sure that you see from their point of view. Make sure that it wasn't just like, maybe they weren't stealing the swords, maybe they were off to go clean them and bring them right back. Maybe they had an absolutely perfectly normal reason to have these swords with them, right? So sometimes it's just that we need to look from the other shoe, look from the other perspective and make sure that there isn't something you're missing as well, that there's something that's lost in miscommunication. So I think miscommunication is a big part, and whether it's with someone as well, it also could be that you're framed in a particular position where other people aren't seeing you clearly as well, where maybe there is a need for a bigger conversation there as well, about how you're feeling, about a foundational belief that you have, or about how you're bringing yourself to the table when it comes to these things that you're aspiring towards, as well as the miscommunication here of teamwork and connection and all of that. So this could go a lot of different ways, but I want to see how this connects with the rest of your charms, which we're going to be doing here in a moment. Looking into your charms here on the charm casting mat. If you want to learn more about charm casting, I have an entire master guide video that you can check out down in the description below, all about how you can begin building your own set of charms and get using them right off the bat. It's literally my favorite form of divination, and I think it's a very accessible form of divination. So if you're feeling connected to the charms here today or into that idea, definitely check that video out. Otherwise, today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking into your charms casted here on the mat here, and anything that falls here in the center is going to be related more to that 7 of Swords that we talked about earlier, as well as any other big overarching energies. Anything that falls to the left side of this line is going to be related to week 1, and the same for the right side, looking into week 2, and then we'll talk about the moon phases if they show up. So let's go ahead and begin first with some tarot tiles, and then we'll show up with some charms right after. So feel free to send your energy in here, and I'll pull some for you for the next 2 weeks, group 1. So we've got nothing falling here in the center, which we'll flip over these cards in a minute and we'll see more. But let's go ahead and get some charms for some added detail first. So as always, have a little chit chat with them, and I'll pull some for you. Okay, so we've got quite a few charms here that were slipping and sliding in other places, so I've kind of moved them on. This one I feel like I need to cast again, okay, because it felt like it was a little too far from the center than we wanted. So okay, let's start first all the way in the center here. So things going on here, right? We already talked about that Seven of Swords, sneaky miscommunication energy going on. You have it showcasing that this is going to be a very temporary energy, and specifically it's going to be more related to week 1 than week 2 because of the way that this is pointed. The other things you have here, you have the starfish, which kind of reminds me of all those swords, but the starfish also showcases a sense of resilience, a sense of being able to grow back and come back stronger after difficult times. So there is this feeling of strength and resilience over these next 2 weeks for you. And then you also got the diving deep charm. I always think of this as like a little diving pool. Like, I don't think you guys can tell how deep it is, but yeah, it's just a really deep sort of charm. So I always think of this as needing to dive deeper. So these next 2 weeks I think are going to also be quite reflective. I think you're going to be, thinking about your resilience, thinking about flexibility, thinking about adaptation, thinking about those beliefs that you have about yourself and others and how those shift or change the dynamics, social dynamics around you, how that temporarily shifts them or you're on a shift toward them. There's something going on there. I want to see more with the other charms though, since we didn't really get to go as deep with those. I'm just going to move these up a little bit so they're a little bit more in view for you. So here in week 1, you really only have a couple of charms. Most of these are falling towards the moon phases, which I find really interesting. Usually I don't start with the moon phases, but I feel called to. So here, both kind of heading toward right after the full moon, heading toward the last quarter moon, all about letting things go, releasing things, not putting so much pressure on yourself. The things that you have showing up here are the balance that I was talking about earlier, that feeling of needing to balance a lot of things, and then also responsibility coming forward from the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles wants to do everything perfectly. They want to make sure that they have done all that they can do to make things grow in their life, and they put a lot of pressure on themselves. And so I think it's also giving yourself a little bit of grace, allowing yourself to have a better balance, especially within your friendships and your relationships, not even just to others, but also your relationship to yourself, how you see yourself, the pressure you put on yourself, because you do have the Claudia charm showing up here with friendship, sovereignty, I forget, and also love. The other one that you have showing up here right after the new moon is the Eight of Wands, but not just the Eight of Wands, the Eight of Wands reversed. And the Eight of Wands has all of these wands flying through the sky. It showcases like this intense passion, excitement, push forward towards something. Even if you're not excited about it, you have a lot of energy to just get something done. There's a boldness to this. And you have it reversed, which tells me that you're actually letting go of a little bit of that passionate energy. You're just like taking a bit of a break, which makes sense with everything else you had showing up here in the moon phases of like giving yourself a bit more grace, giving yourself a little bit more time, not trying to push towards a deadline or trying to push to make things happen. There's a feeling of needing to let things go a little bit. Give yourself a bit of ease. Here in the first week, you have the pressure charm, which makes sense. This is like a little pressure cooker I always think of, or like you have a ton of rocks in your shoes and you're constantly having to walk on them. This also makes me think just like you're about to like blow your top. Like it just feels like a lot of pressure is being built up, like a pressure cooker here in the first week. And that pressure is related to the what's it called? The Emperor. So this could be specifically towards a person in your life who has a lot of authority over you. Maybe that's a lot of pressure from a manager, a boss, someone higher up, or it could also be a parent or someone which you look up to in some way, even if they're younger than you or lower on a totem pole per se, but it just feels like there's a lot of pressure. This also could be if you feel like you are your own emperor, in the idea that, like, again, you're not giving yourself enough grace and maybe you work by yourself, or, you run your own business or something like that. There's also a feeling too that you are contributing to this particular situation of putting way too much on your plate, and that creates that pressure. So you're feeling a lot more of this pressure in the first week, and here in the second week, you have the quarter charm, which can be related to a lot, like a quarter of the year, or feeling like this is something that you're pressure cooking towards a time-based, time-sensitive something happening in the first week, especially related to the charm of thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. I always think of this also just a lot of pressure towards like friends and family and neighbors and your community members, or maybe that's where you're feeling a time pressure or a feeling like something needs to happen quick sort of action. You also have the silver heart, and I think of this one also as, like, since it's so flat and smooth, it showcases that this is like a really pure, like, love, and that's related to the Five of Pentacles, of wanting to, in this case, because of everything else you had here with neighbors and like community members, I feel like in the second week you're really wanting to act to help someone less fortunate than you at this current time, someone who is going through it, and it's from a pureness in your heart, not from like wanting to, I don't know, do good, to feel like you did good in the world. Like, you just genuinely want to help your neighbors or help the people around you. And I think that is really wonderful that that's showing up here in the second week. So most of the pressure that you're feeling, the miscommunication, is in the first week. The second week, it seems like you're relieving a bit of stress by helping others less fortunate than you. So overall, those are all of the charms and cards here that I have for you for the next 2 weeks. I hope that this has been useful and helpful to you in navigating them. And if it was and is, definitely be sure to give this video a like and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below of the things we've sort of intuitively shown up here. Also, if you're interested in more pick a card readings like this one, or educational videos like I mentioned earlier on charm casting or art magic, then definitely feel free to subscribe, as I put out new videos every single Monday or every other Monday, depending on when my camera is wanting to behave these days. Also, I am open to doing snail mail readings right now. I'm offering those to you if you guys are interested in a snail mail reading for a year ahead reading, looking into the entire year as a whole, the overarching messages, your compass, your sunsets, the energy on the way out, on the way in, and how you can navigate it. Those are open right now. They are my favorite to do, and they're the favorite that I feel like most people tend to reach out for. And also, I have relationship readings open here for any kind of relationship you want to look into, whether it's romantic, platonic, familial, if you want to look into a relationship with a particular deity or spirit, or even with yourself. That's something I can do for you. And if you have any other ideas for particular magical goods that you're looking for magical stamps, or into getting your own charm casting mat hand embroidered for you, or any other things that I do for spell and ritual papers or other snail mail readings, then definitely feel free to reach out. But with that all said, I'm going to go ahead and close off your reading here. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello, group 2. If you've decided to choose this little tree, then this is the pile for you. Looking into your next 2 weeks, we're going to be doing that with the charms here, the number tiles, the letter tiles, as well as the tarot tiles, and the everyday tarot. I'll have all of this, as always, listed down below in the description for you in case you're curious or you want to see the other things that I have listed down there as well for all sorts of things. But today, like I said, we're looking into your next 2 weeks. What is going on for you all? So we're going to just start diving right on in, but definitely feel free to get yourself cozy, settled with a nice little blanket. It's super snowy outside right now, so I'm getting like free light, free sunlight for these videos for you all. So today I am definitely feeling cozy. I hope you guys are too and are doing well wherever you are. But today, like I said, we're looking into your next 2 weeks, and for this, we're going to be using a lot of different types of charms and letters and all of that, and because of that, I think this is a perfect opportunity as well, especially with these 2-week readings that I do, for you to really hone in on your intuition and use it as an opportunity to sort of play around, see what comes forward for you, challenge that intuition, or to kind of build it up. This is a really good opportunity for you to continue to learn and grow that sort of intuitive muscle. So feel free to play around with me here. The letters that we're going to be looking into today are going to be mostly for like initials, but we're also going to see any oracle messages that come forward here at the start of the reading. So definitely feel free with everything here, as always, to send your energy in, really connect with each of the different supplies that I'm using, and we will see. So here we go. Group 2, the next 2 weeks. Okay, so you have YNSEU as well as JEET and E. There are a lot of E's here, which isn't surprising. In English, E's are used a lot, so of course that letter tends to come up a lot, but it doesn't usually come up 4 times. So if you guys are feeling like an initial is coming forward, definitely an E, or maybe someone who has a name that starts with not an initial, with an vowel, or a vowel here, especially since you have U and Y as well. Maybe Jen, you got a jet. So maybe some of you guys are doing a lot of travel, jetting around, got a lot of tasks and things to do, whether it's like physically traveling, or if you just feel like you're jetting from one thing to the next thing to the next thing, one hobby, one this, got to take the kids here, got to move here, like you're just constantly on the move, either like physically, like I said, or if you're doing it more like from one task to the next. Other things showing up here, you've got the sun showing up here. The sun can represent that it's literally like sunny outside, or you're getting some vitamin D, like you're just enjoying the sun. This can also relate to the sun card though, which is all about positivity, optimism, feeling like you've got like an extra step to your step, like, you know, like you're skipping around, like you just feel very floaty on air, like things are just going right for you. So there is this feeling too that even though things are like kind of maybe chaotic with a lot of things happening, a lot of pieces to the puzzle, I feel like you're kind of in a sunny mood about it, or you're just very optimistic about it, or you're just you're rolling with the punches and you're just seeing what can happen, and you know, living life to the fullest that way. Really, really nice to see. The sun also can represent connecting with our inner child, or with a child in our life as well, so there could be a connection there. What else is here? You've got ton, you've got set, right? There's a lot of things we could write here, but those are the 2 that I really honed in on, so feel free to take these, scramble them up, play around with them even further, and see what else comes forward. But today, with the rest of your reading, I want to look into, or for the next part of your reading, I want to look into your numbers. So similar to the letters, these are going to be looking into any significant dates, any angel numbers or spirit numbers, and we're also going to look into any repeating numbers and the numerology and colors of each of the different numbers here. So let's see what shows up for you. Okay, so you have the number 12 in red, the number 7 in black, and the number 6 in orange. Interesting little combination here, especially because 12 is like, you know, double 6, and 6 is showcasing in like a really sunny, happy, good going energy, and 12 is in like a very passionate energy of you know, red, but it also could represent caution or a need to stop or slow down. The number 6 is a number of harmony. Things are working in your favor. You're feeling sunny. Things like you've got that pep to your step. But I think if you double it, if you try to put too much, you put, you know, you jet around too much, you put too much into your week, you put more pressure on yourself, it's only going to make it more difficult. Yes, you may have the passion to do it, but you're going to feel the cautionary tale of it as well. So that's something to consider. The 7 also just feels more like a significant date. The 17th, the 16th, the 12th, the 21st, the 26th or the 27th, all being significant dates showing up here, whether in the past or future, doesn't really matter. They're still significant these next 2 weeks. So feel free to read those as you wish. But we're going to pull you a card now looking into your overarching message for the next 2 weeks. So this is going to be an energy to see what is like the biggest theme, the biggest energy showing up for you for these next 2 weeks. So definitely send your energy into the cards here, and we'll see what that is for you. So the next 2 weeks, group 2, what is that overarching energy, the energy most prevalent and coming forward most often these next 2 weeks? Ooh, you have the Star. Interesting set of cards here, because the Star indicates a feeling of renewal, a feeling of usually rest and rejuvenation, but because you have such like go kind of energy, but it's quite optimistic, it makes me think too that like even though things have been maybe difficult for you, even though you've maybe had a lot of things going on, you've got a very busy next 2 weeks, it's still showcasing that like it's less a focus on rest and more a focus on like changing your perspective about what is so sort of busy. So it's kind of like, yes, you're busy, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be a bad thing, right? Sometimes we're busy with a lot of amazing things that are happening, you know, weddings or celebrations, birthdays, get-togethers, family events, whatever it may be, or community events that you lead or see that are really important to you, or even personal events for yourself. It also could be that you're just really busy with things that are specifically related to you that you really want to do, and you're driven to do them because they are bringing more harmony in your life, because they are rejuvenating you, because they are bringing back in that optimistic, sunny, hopeful energy towards you. So it's just showcasing that like just because we're busy, just because we have a lot of things going on, whether positively or negatively in our lives, does not necessarily mean that our mindset has to be doom and gloom, or oh my gosh, I've got so much going on, right? We do have the opportunity to shift our perspective on that, to shift our mindset on that, so that we are better able to navigate the world and navigate these next 2 weeks with more of that sunny optimism. So I want to see what else comes forward here as well related to the Star energy, as well as your next 2 weeks as a whole, which we will be doing with the charms here today. And if you've never built your own charm set, if you're new to charms, I have an entire master guide video that you can check out down below, free on YouTube for you to check out if you're interested in starting your own set. I basically just like let you guys know every little tip and trick that I know of, so that you are ready to go if you'd like to start your own set and begin casting your own charms. But today with the charms, what we're going to be doing is anything that falls here in the center is going to be related to that overarching energy of the Star, or anything else that shows up here. Anything on the left side of this vertical line is going to be related to week 1. Same for the opposite side on the right for week 2. And then we'll talk about the moon phases if they show up for timing. So to begin, we're going to start here first with the tarot tiles to get the big overarching players here. And then we'll pull some charms as well. So definitely send your energy in, and I'll pull some for you, group 2. Okay. One's coming out in pairs here and also in little clusters. So interesting that this first week is clearly more impactful here, or they want to at least talk about them more. So we'll see the charms as well. Okay. Interesting set of charms, especially since the first pile also had this temporary energy, but I like that this temporary energy is falling between the 2 weeks, so it's also telling me that all the energy that's going on here, the buzzy, busy bee, sunny energy that you have, is also something that is going to be temporary. It's not going to be something that's perfectly organized, and it's also going to be very like, it's constantly moving, the energy is constantly shifting, and you have to sort of adapt to it. Other things going on here. Let's see here in the center, right? So you have the Hermit reversed, which tells me and sort of, confirms that these next 2 weeks are busy. That whether they're busy, even if you're at home and you're not like going anywhere, you just have a lot of things you want to do, you want to accomplish, you're excited for, or you are literally like jettisoning around. But the star, like I said, can represent like a peaceful rejuvenation, a time by yourself to rejuvenate and rest. And so does the Hermit. The Hermit tends to talk about that too, of wanting to rest, but in a very inward, slow way. And yours is much faster. You're flying through the self-help sort of courses here, and taking that path. So this also showcases that. It also showcases you the spiderweb charm, and this one always makes me think of like connections, how things are connected. So it also tells me too that like you just have a lot of connections, a lot of networking that you're doing over these next 2 weeks, connecting with lots of different people, lots of different hobbies, lots of different projects and ideas that you're working on, and they all are connecting to build a stronger whole. So it is something that it's useful at this time to be doing so. Other things that are happening here on the first week, you have the strength charm showing up here, and the strength charm is all about needing strength and to also adapt and to shift our mindset, which we talked about earlier. So I won't speak to this one too long. Other things, you have the success charm of the mountain goat. The mountain goat also showcases that you are a fighter, that you can climb those mountains much more, like those mountains, those foothills, those what's the word I'm looking for? Challenges that you have to face, like the big mountain challenges. You're facing them with like the skill of a mountain goat. Like you're able to just move to the next rock, to the next thing. Doesn't matter how steep the hill is, you're just going. You also have the charm of the world, as well as the star. So you have the star showing up here as well. Both were reversed, which tells me that the star, like I was talking about earlier, this is maybe not the time for rest, but the rejuvenation is there, that change in mindset is there. And the world card usually represents finishing a chapter. So it also tells me that over this first week, you're not going to be finishing everything, right? You're not finishing all the projects, it's not finishing like a school year or finishing anything or wrapping anything up, but it doesn't mean that your mindset and your adaptability and your resilience and your strength can't still kick in here in that first week, because I really think you're like kicking into gear, you're locking in, which is nice to see. And then here on the second week, you got the fool charm, or the little jester charm. It's kind of hard to see, but it's like a little jester or a little juggler. And this also can represent, even with like the juggling, that you're also like juggling a lot here in the second week, a lot to balance. But you're still quite rock solid. You got the rock here. It's smooth as a rock too. This is like specifically like you've smoothed things over. You've got a really good workflow these next 2 weeks. You also have the eraser charm. This eraser is like turned to rock, but which is kind of interesting with the rock, that again, you're very rock solid. You're not putting anything on your shoulders that you do not need as well, right? Like you've already planned things out, you know what you need to do. You've got a nice, neat web. Maybe you've got really good planning and time management skills happening over these next 2 weeks. And that's really being showcased here in the second week for sure. So overall, I know this was kind of shorter for your guys' pile, but overall, those are the charms and cards that I have here showing up for you guys. It really just feels like the next 2 weeks is all about go, 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 getting things done, working hard, but also feeling sunny and optimistic about it. Instead of putting stress and anxiety and pressure, instead you're just like, okay, I'm going to work on this task, move to the next one, work on that task, move to the next one, and just keep the ball moving. That's how it really feels for you guys. Like you're very rock solid, but adaptable at the same time. So, like I said, those are all the charms and cards that I have here for you for the next 2 weeks. I hope that this has been useful and helpful to you. If you found it useful and helpful, definitely be sure to give this video a like and let me know in the comments down below what you saw, how your intuition was sparking for everything. It may have been completely different. I'd love to hear. And also, if you are interested in more pick a card readings like this one, or pick a charm readings, or into looking into more educational videos like I mentioned on charm casting, or into your own art magic, if that's something you're interested in, definitely feel free to subscribe, as I put out new videos every single Monday that I think you'd really enjoy. And if you're interested in relationship readings, or if you want to dive deeper into a particular relationship in your life, I have relationship readings open right now, looking into any kind of relationship, queer or otherwise, or looking into a spiritual relationship or a friendship, family member, whatever it may be. I can do that for you with lots of different ideas and options and price points for you to check out over on my Instagram down below. I also have year ahead readings open for a few more weeks, so if you're interested in looking into your entire year for the next several months, looking into the whole year of 2026 as a whole, I would love to do that for you. I recommend that reading so much to those who have never gotten a reading before, so definitely check those out down below as well. And because I have a little extra time here with you guys, I just want to say thank you to anyone who has been hanging out here on the channel for however long you've been here. Definitely let me know in the comments down below if you've been here for a long time. I'd love to hear. And I'm sure I've seen you, especially if you've been in the comments. So just want to send out a little bit of thank you and gratitude for hanging out here with me. And I hope you guys are doing well. So with that all said, I'm going to go ahead and close off your reading. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello, group 3. If you've decided to choose this little butterfly with these swirls, then this is the pile for you, as today we are going to be looking into your next 2 weeks to see what's going on with the charms, the numbers, letter tiles, and the tarot tiles, as well as the everyday tarot. I'll have all of this, as always, listed down below in the description in case you're curious. There's also lots of helpful videos and other information on the offerings I provide down there below in case you're curious as well. But today, like I said, we're really diving deep into your next 2 weeks, so we're going to just dive right on into it. So definitely feel free to get yourself cozy, settled, and comfy for this. I was telling the other piles, it recently snowed quite a lot, so I'm getting like a lot of free light coming in for this video, which is really nice. And am feeling quite cozy myself. So I hope you all are doing well wherever you are and however you are. Also, I want to let you know that this is a perfect opportunity, because I'm using such a myriad and varied amount of supplies here, with different tools and such, with charms and all of that, that this is the perfect opportunity, if you haven't already, to use these readings as an opportunity to really sort of strengthen your intuition muscles. So feel free to play around with this, see what you have coming forward, play with the letters, the numbers, the tiles, the charms, and see what comes forward for you, because I think that's always really interesting, and I'd love to hear your differing or connected thoughts in the comments down below. But today we're going to be starting here with the letter tiles. These are going to be looking into any particular initials that are important for people and places and businesses and names coming forward. And we're also going to be seeing over these next 2 weeks if there are any oracle messages that are important as well. So we're going to start first with these. So feel free to send your energy in, as always, into all of the different supplies here today. And we'll start here with you, group 3. Okay, so you have X, I, O, Y, D, R, and N. Not a lot of vowels to play with, not a lot of letters in general to play with. It felt very reserved, almost like you guys are a little bit more reserved with the communication that you're having over these next 2 weeks. Like maybe you guys aren't as social these next 2 weeks, or you're just not feeling like wanting to be social or using a lot of words or communicating. Maybe you're not on social media as much or anything like that. Like you're just taking a bit of a social cleanse, a little bit of a break here, which is interesting. I also see like yo here, like Roman numerals showing up here, or chi. You also have Ron, Ra, Doi. There's lots of little words that we could spell here. On is really interesting because it's one that could be like on or no. Do. There's clearly not a lot showing up here. I feel like you're just very reserved with the letters and the way that you're communicating, because sometimes the letters aren't about spelling something. I find that sometimes they just tell us how we're communicating over these next 2 weeks, and it feels like even if you are communicating a lot, maybe you just don't really feel like over these next 2 weeks that you're having very like meaningful conversation, or you're feeling a little bit more like on robot mode, especially like with the Roman numerals here as well. Or maybe you're very short with your words, like you're just saying like very small, short, quick messages, quick replies, and that's totally valid. Sometimes we just need a little bit of a time off of communicating with others. But if that's not something you want to be bringing out, that might just be something to be aware of over these next 2 weeks, that you might be shying away from particular things. So let us go ahead and look at your numbers as well and see what comes forward here. So the numbers are similar to the letters, but in this case we're looking into any angel numbers, numerology, repeating numbers, looking into significant dates that are coming forward here as well. So as always, send your energy in. Ooh. Got a lot of numbers though. You have 8 in red, 11 in orange, another 8 but in black this time, and you have 11 in red. So you have 11s and 8 showing up here in like a little rainbow. 11 also talks about wish making, and particularly in this case it feels like a very strong wish is either being made or is being sort of granted, especially since you have the abundance numbers of 8s here too. It makes me feel like more so that you have some sort of wishes being granted towards you, which is really nice to see, because like these are also showing up in such passionate colors. So it really feels like you are making a wish and that wish is really being granted in some way. This isn't like an opportunity for you to suddenly start making wishes right now and them coming true, but maybe there's some sort of aspiration, a wish that you've been working towards, a spell you've been doing, that, you know, a prayer that is being answered. However you wish to go about it, there is this feeling of it coming true in some way, and quite abundantly, maybe related to abundance or finances or jobs and careers. Since you have 8 being shown up here too, 8 also being the number of infinity. So you also have the 18th being maybe an important significant date, the 8th, the 11th, all things to consider with these as well. Even if they're in the past, they still can make a significant difference on the things that are happening and impacting the future. So those are the ones I have here for you so far, but let us go ahead and look further. And we're going to pull a card to look into the overarching message here for you for the next 2 weeks. The energy that is most prevalent, that it's coming up over and over and over again these next 2 weeks. So if you send your energy into any of the cards, I always recommend sending them into this particular this particular moment within the reading. So definitely feel free to connect with them. So group 3, next 2 weeks. Overarching message here for you, group 3, for the next 2 weeks. What energy is coming forward most prevalently? And that one felt a little clumsy, which was interesting too. You actually got 2 cards. You got the Emperor as well as the 7 of Pentacles. And the Emperor and the 7 of Pentacles are really interesting to have coming together. And the fact that they're also not looking at one another, I love that about this deck, is that they're always either looking one way or the other. And it's interesting to see the relationship here. The 7 of Pentacles is all about tending to our goals, working towards our goals, and making sure that like we're keeping on the ball of things. So especially with those wishes that you're working towards, those goals, those aspirations, you're working towards them. But the Emperor energy is all about planning, having a good plan. The Emperor also wants to protect those goals, make sure they're doing well. And the fact that they're looking away tells me that like these next 2 weeks, you maybe are dropping the ball on some of your goals in some way, or someone else is, if it's related to other people. Maybe that's why there's those short messages, those feelings of maybe someone being short with you instead of you being short with them. Or it could go either way, but because you have so much showing up here, that kind of indicates to me that you're more of the 7 of Pentacles person here, that you're the one tending to the goals. It feels like the person in the group chat or the group project that's like letting you down. Like you had a group project with someone in school, but was it really a group project, or was it just you doing everything and them taking the credit? That's sort of the energy that I have showing up here, and I understand why you'd maybe want to be short with that person. This doesn't have to be a particular project or a particular goal, but it can be that like just in general your communication is maybe short with a particular person right now, or someone is being short with you, and that being a highlighted event showing up here over these next 2 weeks. So let us look a little bit further here for you. With the charms. So if you have never used charms before, or if you've never seen these readings here with me before, I have an entire master guide video that you can check out down below in the description, all about how you can build your own charm set. It's free, it's on YouTube for you to check out if you want to, all about how to get into charms, build your own set, and start reading here today. So if that's something you're interested in, then definitely check that out. But today's reading is going to be related to this charm mat, and anything that falls here in the center is going to be related more to those 7 of Pentacle Emperor main energies coming forward. Anything that falls to the left side of this vertical line is week 1, and then the same for the right side, only it'll be week 2. And then we'll talk about the moon phases individually if they show up. But we're going to start first with the tarot tiles to see the big energies, the big players, and then use the charms to see more of the details. So send your energy on in, and I will pull some for you. Okay, this is really interesting. I always love when things line up. So we already have the Emperor showing up here, and you already have the Emperor show up over here. And I'll be zooming you in a moment. But the fact that you already have that connection, and you have the wish-making card of the 9 of Cups, very interesting. Let's go ahead and look a little further with the charms and see what else comes forward here with them. So have a little combo with them, and I'll pull some for you. So, interesting. Let me zoom you on in here so you can see a little bit more clearly what is going on. Okay, so I talked about earlier, you had someone in the group not really participating or helping, and you have that continuing to show up here with sort of an absent, reversed version of the typical Emperor, but it has been reversed, which tells me that they are again not helping. They are not definitely joining in on the group project. They're not communicating. There is an absence of energy there. And you also have that showing up here with the wish-making card and fulfillment card of feeling emotionally fulfilled with someone relating to, or something relating to a wish or an aspiration or a goal with a particular person, project, or thing related to this Emperor. And It also shows that you're quite overwhelmed because you have the overwhelmed charm. What is hiding underneath, though? You do have the strength card. So yes, you are overwhelmed, but it shows that you have the strength to overcome the situation, and you have the resilience from past situations where you had to be brave or speak up or be adaptable or be flexible or try something new. That is showing up here as well. And you also have the outgrown charm. This was like a button from an old pair of jeans from like my childhood, little Maurice's here. And this shows like you outgrowing things, outgrowing a particular situation. And so when I'm looking at this, it tells me too that you have outgrown this person. You've outgrown this behavior that they're doing towards you. You've outgrown the situation, whether it's because they've outgrown it with you and that's showcasing that growth there, or you're realizing like maybe I don't need them in this group project that we're working on, you know, in whatever form or sense that is. It can showcase that too, that they are not helping to tend to the life that you are looking toward or this particular project, because it doesn't have to be a person. It can just represent those bigger goals, that something has shifted there and that you have a different direction in which you want to take. So this is quite an impactful next 2 weeks, a very pivoting next 2 weeks for you. Quite eye-opening. Here in the first week, you do have the ex charm showing up here, which represents an ex-partner, an ex-friend, an ex-family member, someone who, or a project in which you've like let go of, a book you stopped reading and DNF'd, whatever it may be. There's just sort of an energy of this is over, Xing it out, showing up here. It also can represent like the game tic-tac-toe, but I'm feeling more connection towards that with everything else we've talked about here. You also have the following in the footsteps charm, so that could represent that like you're also, because these are so far apart, it feels more like you're following the footsteps of someone else and wanting to go a different direction than what is below. You have the I love you charm with the angel. So someone looking out for you, maybe a spirit of some sort, maybe an angel, maybe a loved one. And then you also have the reversed version of the Hierophant. So, okay, this is what I'm getting here. The first week, it feels like you're slightly stubborn, like you're having an opportunity, because you have the opportunity charm specifically related to the self, an opportunity to let something go or to let someone go that, you know, maybe someone in your past has followed this same path and you're following that same path, or maybe you've done this before, you've been with this person before, you've been around this particular situation before, and you want to take a new path. You don't want to follow the same footsteps. You want to learn from your mistakes, especially since the charm of the Hierophant is reversed. It tells me that like you're a bit stubborn, you're not learning from your mistakes here in the first week, but you want to. And you have the opportunity to. A spirit is helping you, or a particular loved one in your life is trying to show you reason to a particular situation, and maybe you're not taking the opportunity, or you're following in the same footsteps that you've had before. As for the second week, though, there's a difference here. This is when that strength is starting to pop in, because you do have the cage charm, but it is open, which tells me that you've opened yourself up to a new flexible opportunity to go a different direction. Maybe you do not need this emperor. They are clearly not helping. And then you also have the mountain goat charm, which is perfect when we're facing a challenge, right? If we're facing a challenge, we're like facing a mountain. We're facing a big hill in our path, a steep hill. And mountains are great at working through those difficult situations. And you also have the magician showing up here too, which showcases a resourcefulness. So there's also someone, it feels less, because it's slightly reversed, it feels less like it's you and maybe a loved one or someone else bringing you a bit of some help, some opportunity to help you get out of this cage that you feel like you are in, whether it's related to this emperor, related to the strength that you have going on here, outgrowing old, things that make you feel overwhelmed. Whatever it is, it feels like the first week you're stubborn about making the change, and by the second week you've made a change. You're thinking on your feet, you're doing things differently. And particularly because you chose the pile with the transformation or evolution charm of the butterfly, which I felt really called to use this one. Like, it's not my favorite butterfly of the charms that we have, but I felt so called to use it for your guys' pile. I was like, it doesn't have to be the most aesthetic one. It clearly means something to those choosing it. So I really feel like you are evolving, you are changing, you're going through some sort of metamorphosis on a much larger scale over these next 2 weeks, and maybe in ways you don't even realize at the start, right? Maybe it's just a small conversation with a loved one, but in the next few months, you may find that conversation continues to needle away at you. You start to think a little bit more clearly. You do things a little bit differently. And you're at the budding phases, or the big phases of your evolution here within this situation, related to this overwhelm, to this feeling of feeling unsatisfied, and feeling unsatisfied specifically towards this Emperor energy of someone who should be having your back, or a project that should be in your corner and is not. So overall, those are all the charms and cards that I have here for you. A really interesting set of them. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in the description, as well as giving this video a like. I hope that this has been useful and helpful to you, though, so do let me know. And if you're interested in more pick-a-card readings like this one, as well as learning more about charm casting or art magic, stamp making, and the like, then definitely feel free to subscribe, as I put out new videos every single Monday and sprinkle in those educational ones. And currently, because you have so much related to relationships here, I just want to mention I do have relationship readings open right now for both snail mail readings, where I send a letter to you in the mail. It's typewritten on a vintage typewriter, wax sealed closed for your eyes only, and is sent directly to you, diving into this relationship. Or if you want to get a digital reading for a lower price, or looking into other different kinds of readings that I do, you can look into those as well. All the information will be down below in the description, as well as through my Instagram. And if you can't find what you're looking for, just send me an email and I'm happy to send more information your way. I also have year ahead readings open right now as well, so if you want to look into your entire year as a whole for 2026 to see the obstacles in which you have to face, but how you have the strength in which to face them, as well as other themes and bigger energies happening for 2026, then definitely reach out for one of those. They're one of my favorite ones to do, and they're the ones that most people reach out for, so definitely check those out. And I also do lots of other different magical offerings that you can check out down below for getting your own custom stamps for your art magic and your grimoire, book of shadows, and the like. If you want to get your own spell and ritual papers for your spells and your rituals that are handcrafted just for you, or if you're interested in getting your own custom embroidered charm casting mat to your colors and your design, and anything else that you have in mind, definitely feel free to reach out. It's a great way to support this space, keep this space running, and I absolutely love to do it, so feel free to reach out. But with that all said, I'm going to go ahead and close off your reading. I am wishing you the best in this situation over these next 2 weeks, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.